Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. I wanted to get ready and talk about some new fall makeup releases that excited me. Some I bought, some I received in PR, and I've been testing most of them for the past month. I think the newest thing I've been testing for 2 weeks, so I have pretty well-informed thoughts and opinions on these things by now, and I thought I would also demonstrate them on my skin as much as possible. Starting out with one of the most exciting, for me at least, the new Westman Atelier concealer. I'm a fan of Westman Atelier. I can't say I'm obsessed with everything I've tried from the brand, but I do appreciate what the brand is doing. It's a really luxurious, thoughtful line. When I ordered this, at the time of me ordering this, it was only available on their website. So I had to try and shade match myself online, and I was in between two shades, so I ended up ordering both. I ordered shade L4, which on the website, it was described as a light with peachy undertones, and then I ordered shade M1, which was described as light to medium with neutral undertones, which is pretty yellow. So here we have L4, and then this is M1. M1 is not that neutral to me. To me, this is like a warm yellow undertone. I actually returned M1, but they let me keep it. So I am able to use this if I really just want to brighten the center of my face in the summertime. I can make this work, but I think what I'm going to do is probably just pass it along to a friend that has more of a golden undertone and is able to use this more regularly, because ultimately I prefer this concealer formula as an under eye concealer. In a pinch, it works all over the face, but it's an expensive concealer, $48 for 6 milliliters of product, and when I look at the ingredients of this product, I see caffeine, which is, for depuffing. I love the packaging. I think the packaging is really beautiful. I love that there's a little window so you can see the product, you can see how much you have left, and you can see definitely L4 has been getting a lot more usage than M1 for me. It works under my eyes and all over my face. My favorite application is under the eyes, a small amount, just 2 dots, blended out with fingers. That's the perfect everyday under eye coverage for me. I'd say this has medium coverage, medium to full buildable. You can do another layer. You can blend it out with a brush and tap it on to really build that coverage. And I've been so impressed with this concealer. It's like a thicker, creamier consistency, which I love because these consistencies perform a lot better under my eyes. Those really thin serum-y concealers crease a lot on me. Texture-wise, out of what I have, this reminds me the most of the Haus concealer, which is my other favorite holy grail under eye concealer. It's a little thinner than Haus, a touch more stretchy. If you try the Haus and you wished it was maybe just a little bit more hydrating, then I think you will really like the Westman Atelier. You can see here I get a really nice amount of everyday coverage. Now, normally I use an under eye corrector to cancel out the darkness in my eyes, but obviously today I'm not going to do that, just so you can get a better idea of the level of coverage. But what I really like about this concealer is how natural it looks. It looks natural. It looks undetectable on the skin when you use a small amount. And it's just really flattering, and it doesn't really crease that badly. Even when I'm not setting it with powder, it claims to be self-setting. I always like to powder my under eyes, but I did test it without powdering my under eyes. I'll insert a picture on the screen. Very, very minimal creasing and slight fading of coverage at the end of like an 8 or 9 hour day without having to set it with powder. And that is a really, really good performance for me because I'm 37 years old. I have some fine lines. I have a lot of movement. So I do a lot of squinting. So to me, that's really good performance, especially for not setting with powder. When I set it with powder, I am able to get a bit more longevity out of it, but I still get a tiny little bit of creasing, a tiny little bit of coverage fading, mainly in this part. of the under eye, but it's really not bad. It's something that no one else would notice. I would notice if I'm really looking for it, but I'm very happy and very pleasantly surprised by the performance of this concealer. I really like it. Do I like it better than my Haus Labs? No. I really appreciate both, and I have room for both in my repertoire. The Haus Labs is more long wearing. Like, the Haus Labs is still the most long wearing. The Haus Labs doesn't fade in terms of coverage at all throughout the day, and it creases less, but the Haus Labs doesn't look as natural and undetectable under the eyes as the Westman Atelier. So when I'm using the Haus Labs concealer under my eyes, I'm committing to a more full-on makeup look, whereas when I use the Westman Atelier, it is a bit more versatile in that I can get that amped up coverage, or I can really get that super sheer, minimal, skin-like, natural look. But I am sacrificing a little bit of longevity. And when I'm using both to conceal areas of the face, the Haus Labs is maybe a touch more blurring than the Westman Atelier. The Westman Atelier also claims to be blurring. I don't find it to be that blurring, especially when I compare it to something like the Haus Labs. Obviously, in a pinch, the Westman Atelier concealer works beautifully to add coverage on other areas of the face. But another new concealer that I've been enjoying more for that purpose has been the Ciele Concealer. You know, I'm a huge fan of the Ciele skin tint. I first bought this last year immediately after the brand launched, and it's one of my favorite everyday bases. I love the fact that it's added, you know, mineral sun protection. It's the go-to skin tint when I'm breaking out, when I want to make sure that the makeup that I'm using isn't aggravating my breakouts, and it's also giving me a little bit of, you know, extra sun protection. It's never a bad idea, especially since I struggle with hyperpigmentation. So they sent me the concealer when they launched it, just before they launched actually, and I really like this for spot concealing. I don't love this under my eyes. Under my eyes, it didn't perform to my liking. I found it a little bit too cakey and that it creased a bit more than I'd like, but as a spot concealer, it's excellent. And again, when I look at the ingredients of this concealer, it has, you know, again, added mineral SPF 50. It also contains tranexamic acid, which is geared towards pigmentation. It helps to fade pigmentation over time. So these ingredients tell me that this will be a really great concealer for dark spots and for blemishes as they heal, so that I'm not stuck with a dark mark for months. I have the concealer in the shade 5N. I use the skin tint in shade 4. They actually sent me two shades of the concealer, 6P and 5N, but I like 5N for my purposes. This is 6P. This has a slightly peachier undertone. This would be better for my under eyes because of that added peachy tone, but since I don't really love this formula under my eyes, I've just been sticking to using 5N as a spot concealer. And in terms of coverage, again, this is a very solid medium to full buildable coverage product. It has a natural skin-like finish. It doesn't have any extra luminosity to it or anything, but a little goes a long way. I'm going to just dot it on the areas where I want to build that coverage. And another thing that I love that they came out with is this sponge tip applicator. This is like if your fingertips and a damp beauty blender had a baby. You don't dampen it, you use it dry, but that's kind of the effect that it gives. And it just comes in handy in these like awkward, hard to reach areas. It does the most beautiful job at tapping in the concealer in the most natural and subtle way. So I have been loving this little brush. It's such a beautiful concealer formula. When I went overboard with it, it looked pretty cakey at the end of the day. So this is that type of product that, you know, I want to be mindful. And honestly, for spot concealing, I've been reaching for this over my trusty Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. When it comes to blemishes, this has just been incredible. Like it's I'd say this is more coverage than the Westman Atelier. The one thing to note is that if you are prone to dry spots, dry patches, dehydration, make sure you do a really nice hydrating skin prep, because on days in which I wasn't really, if I just rushed through my skincare routine and I didn't really have time to do my serums, and I would just do a super light moisturizer and some sunscreen. And I actually had this happen a couple of times with the Westman Atelier too, when I would use it all over my face. At the end of the day, especially around my mouth, I would get these little dots. And again, I took pictures. I'll show you what I mean. And these little dots, when that happens, your skin is so dehydrated that it sucks out the moisture of the complexion, of the makeup that you have on top. So you're just left with those little dots, which is just dried out pigment because your skin sucked out all the water. In order to mitigate that, if you know that you're prone to dryness on certain areas of your face, just do another light layer of hydration on those areas. For me, my trouble area is always around my mouth, like the side of my mouth and my chin. So I just apply another really, really thin layer of a hydrating toner or a hydrating serum underneath my moisturizer, or you can also do 2 layers of moisturizer if the situation is really dire. It makes sure that your skin has enough hydration during the day, that it won't suck out the water content of your makeup as well, and you won't get that weird patchy dry situation. Super happy with both of these new concealers. The Westman Atelier under my eyes has been chef's kiss, and then the Ciele for spot concealing. If you are acne prone, if you struggle with pigmentation and you have little patches of melasma or little sunspots that you want to conceal and you also want to help correct over time with added sun protection, this has been really, really, really nice, especially if you are already a fan of their skin tint. These they just make for such a beautiful duo. Just finished off my base, added a little bit of blush, bronzer, and powder. Although the Westman Atelier concealer claims to be self-setting under the eyes, from my personal experience, I still get the best performance if I do set it with my go-to under eye powder, which is sadly the old, now no longer with us, Givenchy powder. Now there was another fall makeup launch that I was very excited about, and it's another concealer from Victoria Beckham Beauty. I love Victoria Beckham Beauty. I think it's one of the best executed celebrity beauty lines. It's a luxury beauty brand that I just really resonate with. I have liked everything that I've tried. It's the kind of makeup that makes you feel really special when you put it on, which is what luxury makeup is all about. When I saw that they launched a concealing pen in partnership with Augustinus Bader, I think they have this thing where all their complexion products are made in partnership with Augustinus Bader to use their proprietary peptide. I can't say I'm a fan of Augustinus Bader skincare. I've tried samples of it here and there, but I've never been so enthralled by it that like I had to have it, I had to try it. I'm simply judging this as a makeup product, as an under eye concealing pen. And here's the thing, this is beautiful. It's a beautiful, sheer, light coverage, under eye concealing pen, but I think it is just criminal to charge $68 for 2.4 milliliters of product when it's a sheer product that you also claim you have to use every single day in order to get those beautiful peptide benefits under the eyes. Out of all the concealers that I've tried, this reminds me the most of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. So if you liked the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, this is like my favorite sheer luminous concealer when I really just want that barely there, no makeup look. Like this is my usual go-to. The Victoria Beckham is like the bougie, refined, older sister, richer older sister of the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. They look really similar under my eyes in that they give me that fresh luminous look with a very sheer light coverage, but I will have to say that the Victoria Beckham performs better under my eyes in terms of creasing less. I get a lot less creasing with the Victoria Beckham as opposed to when I use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. In terms of comparing the two, yes, this does perform better. This creases a lot less, and again, I took pictures. You can see how this looked like on under my eyes after a 9-hour day, hot day, because it's still been pretty hot here with a lot of running around, a lot of sweating. So yeah, this does wear beautifully under my eyes. I have to set it with powder, otherwise it creases after like 15 minutes. I have to set everything with powder under my eyes. So everything that I am comparing their performance with setting powder on top, just because that's how my under eye situation works. But this is just too expensive. And I did a little price comparison. When we're comparing it to the most expensive under eye concealer that I have, the Sisley Phyto-Cernes Eclat. This is an eye-watering $120, but you get 15 milliliters of product. So this makes it $8 per milliliter of product. Compared to the Victoria Beckham, which is $68 for 2.4 milliliters of product, which makes this $28.33 per milliliter of product. So this makes the Sisley look like a downright bargain. The Sisley also claims to have skincare benefits. I have this in shade 2, which is very, very peachy. I don't use this as a concealer. I use this as a corrector under my concealers on most days. Obviously, I'm not using it today because I wanted you to see what the Westman Atelier concealer can do on its own. The Westman Atelier concealer is also expensive, luxury price point. This is $48 for 6 milliliters of product. The Haus Labs concealer is, I believe, let me see here. The Haus Labs concealer is $32 for 7 milliliters of product, which makes it $4.57 per milliliter. The Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer is the bargain of the century by comparison. This is $40 for 12 milliliters of product, bringing it to $3.33. Is this 3 times better than these? Absolutely not. Is this 7 times better than my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk? Absolutely not. If you buy the Augustina's Bauder eye cream separately, and you buy the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer separately, together per milliliter, you are still paying less than the Victoria Beckham concealing pen. Just let that sink in, because that's just the magnitude of the price difference. I don't usually nickel and dime makeup like that, spending obscene amounts of money on makeup anyway, and whether or not it's worth it is a very personal thing. To me, it's worth it. It's one of my hobbies that just brings me a lot of joy, but I just can't justify it. You know what I mean? Like it's nice, but it's not earth-shattering in any way. And for the price point, I feel like it should be pretty earth-shattering. You know what I mean? The Westman Atelier wins for me in terms of comparing the two, because this is just more versatile. If the liquid of the Victoria Beckham concealing pen came in this container, then yeah, absolutely, I would recommend it and say, oh my God, you have to try it, especially if you want a really sheer, natural under eye look. This little peachy splot here is the Sisley Phyto-Cernes Eclat in shade number 2. This is what I use as an under eye corrector on most days. This is Victoria Beckham concealing pen in shade L1. This is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer in shade 4.5. This is Westman Atelier concealer in the shade L4. And this is Haus Labs concealer in the shade 21. All of these work really nicely under my eyes. No complaints. So this is my current under eye concealing roster. I don't have anything else. I used to have the Tower 28 concealer that I just decluttered. I gave it away to one of my friends because I don't love that concealer. It didn't work that well for me. I didn't love it under my eyes. I didn't really love it on my face. I'm trying to keep my makeup collection to be pretty edited and concise, and I don't want to keep products that I'm just not loving. And I know that people really love that concealer and that it works really well for a lot of people. It just didn't happen to work that well for me. Let's move on to eyes. I did receive this beautiful fall trio from the Cheetah collection, which was the fall collection from Chantecaille, and I absolutely love it. It is boring in the best way possible. This came in so handy for travel. This is my perfect travel palette because I can use every single color, and I can see myself hitting pan on every single shade. It's beautiful. Do you need this? Is this earth shattering? Absolutely not. It's essentially a more curated, concise edit of the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette, which I also really love. So this is like the mother and the baby, except the baby is very, very expensive. Chantecaille is a luxury beauty brand, and what I like about their curated collections is that they're usually tied around animal conservation, which is a cause that is very near and dear to my heart. This collection in particular, the cheetah collection, the proceeds for this collection went towards cheetah conservation. And I think they just launched their holiday collection already. I just feel like stuff gets launched earlier and earlier. And I don't like to buy fall makeup in the summer. I like to wait for summer to be over, and then I let myself be excited for fall makeup. So to me, this is still fresh and new and exciting, even though with the fast pace of the beauty world, this is probably old news, but I think this is lovely. Out of all the limited edition Chantecaille collections, especially when it comes to their eye products, the one that always stood out as my favorite was the Giraffe eyeshadow quad from, I think this is from 2021 or 2022. This was my favorite for a long time. And I think just with the way that my makeup tastes have evolved, I've been even more minimal now, and I'm not, I like a glitter, but I want a more refined glitter, a more refined sheen. I think the cheetah has overtaken the giraffe, and it is now my favorite. You don't have to think about it. You have all the colors here. And I like to, well, today, I'm going to use all 3 shades just so that you can see what they look like all over my eyes. If I'm just doing a very, very simple sculpted eye, I will just do this beige color all over the lid and then a little bit of this in the crease. Today, I'm just mixing the two and I'm applying the mix all over the lid. It's not like those super impactful, super pigmented shades that can be a little bit intimidating. But it's not as soft and powdery as the mattes in the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes. It's kind of in the middle of a Pat McGrath matte and the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes matte. Stunning shimmery shade. This is just a really beautiful metallic shade that has a little bit of glitter in it, but the glitter particles are very, very, very small. It's not a chunky glitter. It's a very refined, grown-up glitter, which is what I'm gravitating towards. At this point in my life, my eyelids can't handle the chunky shimmers. Beautiful, grown-up glitter. I don't know. The older that I get, the more I appreciate brands that do these types of textures. So the Cheetah palette is just the perfect neutral. It's not as cool toned as, like the shimmer is not as cool toned as the shimmers in the Giraffe quad. So these two are the shimmers in the Giraffe quad. These feel like are more glittery, whereas this is this still has glitter in it, but it's a more refined sheen as opposed to that like the super high impact of the shimmery shades in the Giraffe quad. And let me just compare it with this shimmer from the Makeup by Mario. Not the same. The Chantecaille one is like the grown-up version. So you can see here. So this is one of the Makeup by Mario glitters. You can just see how much more. The glitter particles are slightly larger and they're more tightly packed. So it gives you more of that wet look. Whereas the Chantecaille Cheetah shimmery shade is just a bit more chill. She's more demure and mindful, you know? She can go day to night. She's not too strong, not too in your face. But if you really want to amp it up, you can use a damp brush. And then these two are the glitters from the Giraffe palette. And I feel like I've blabbed enough. The last thing I want to talk about is lips. So this is the other product that I really, really liked from the Chantecaille Cheetah collection, and it's the lip veil in the shade Desert Lily. And I've been loving it with the NYX Los Angeles lip liner. Now this is not a new lip liner. I've been talking about this for a while. This is just such a beautiful lip liner, especially as we head into fall. It's depending on the pressure and how much pressure you use with it, you can really get that vampy, cool toned fall lip, or you can just get a really nice natural shadow. And I keep seeing this makeup artist tip that I've been incorporating in my lip liner routine, and it's only overline your lips at the cupid's bow and like just in the center, just above the cupid's bow and underneath here. And then the rest, for the rest of the lip, don't overline. So this is a lip veil, which is slightly different than the Lip Chic. The Lip Chic is one of my favorite lipstick formulas of all time. The lip veil is very similar. They feel identical on the lips. The main difference is the level of shine. The lip veil has less shine than the Lip Chic. The Lip Chic gives you that shiny, slightly glossy lip, not super glossy like a YSL Candy Glaze, but still more glossy than a traditional satin lipstick. Whereas the lip veil just gives you more of that traditional satin lipstick finish, where it still has a sheen, but just not as much sheen. So this is the finished look. This is the lip combination. So let me just do some comparison swatches, because again, the lip veils are nice to have, but the ones in the ones that get released in these limited edition collections are always slightly more expensive than the ones in the permanent range. I would just recommend waiting for them to go on sale. Chantecaille does a couple sales a year, 25% off. They have their summer sale, which is in July, and then they usually do a Black Friday sale in November. That's usually when I like to buy my Chantecaille products, but Desert Lily is a beautiful, just delightful rosewood pink. And I'm going to compare it with my other favorite pinky nude shade, which is the Lip Chic in the color Patience. This one, Patience, is more beige, and obviously it's a Lip Chic formula, so it's more shiny. You can see the extra shine here in the Patience shade. So Patience is right here from Chantecaille, and then this is how it compares with Desert Lily. And then I also have the Lip Chic in Freesia, which was a limited edition shade from the Giraffe collection, but this is the other closer color that I found. So you don't need Desert Lily. It won't change your life, but these are just those easy everyday types of lip products and lip formulas that are just a joy to apply. So this is the Lip Chic in Freesia, this is the Lip Chic in Patience, and then this is the Lip Veil in Desert Lily. My kinds of shades. These are the colors that kind of work with everything. You can throw in your bag. You don't really have to think about it. It feels really nice to reapply them throughout the day. They give you a little bit of shine. They give you a little bit of moisture. And yeah, these are some of my favorite luxury lip product formulas. These don't have any scent. The Lip Chics smell like vanilla to me, but this lip veil has zero fragrance, zero flavor. So nice to know, especially if you're somebody that's more sensitive to fragrance. And this is a nice attention to detail too, because since it's a lip veil and it's not as shiny compared to the limited edition packaging of the Lip Chic, you see the Lip Chic is kind of shiny everywhere, and this one isn't. And that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Let me know what new fall makeup is catching your eye. Is there anything that you're tempted to try? Is there anything that you've purchased recently that you're loving? Anything that has disappointed you? I always love to chat with you in the comment section below. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.